Chris Caputo is at the podium for them.
Timing for us being the 50th anniversary of the Smith Center. We'll celebrate that as well. And also good timing because, you know, I feel like we have a team that is prepared to compete towards the top of the league and has been picked, you know, that way for the first time in a long time. So great group of guys that we have, but in a very, very competitive league and a hard league to do well in. And so a lot of work to do, but excited to be here now, especially with Raphael here with me. So.
Questions in the back? Hold on, we'll get you a mic.
Coach, Byron Kerr, 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C.
Hi, Byron.
Tell me about Rafael Castro and how much better he has gotten in his couple years here at the Smith Center.
Yeah, you know, again, and I've said this a little bit today, like he's put in a tremendous amount of work, like all the players in our program and probably all the players in the league. But what separates him, I think, is you know, his emotional maturity, stability, his mental makeup, his ability to sort of deal with adversity, even from a young time as a player. You know, when you know, maybe not getting quite the opportunity at Providence, and you know, all along being able to keep kind of the love for the game and the love for the work. And it's a good lesson for a lot of people, you know, that eventually and very quickly that work compounded by somebody who, again, has a really good mindset. And so, you know, now you look up, and I think he's, you know, one of the very best players in the league and amongst the best players in the country. And didn't happen overnight. There's no overnight success. It's somebody who's really in this age of you know, instant gratification, instant if I don't get what I want type stuff. You know, he's been able to kind of endure to become what he is today, which is great.
And we talked about it before, but you have 7 guys coming back, but you also have 7 newcomers. Can you talk about a healthy potential for Garrett Johnson?
Yeah.
A lot of we talk a lot about the guards, but your front court and how good they could be, Luke and Boo Boo and Tyrone and Raphael, and would they play together with Slim?
Yeah, Garrett is healthy and you know, fully competing in practice, 5-on-5, full court, all that. You know, we took it a little bit slow with him. So, you know, he had torn his ACL last June, and he didn't really get going fully until July. But that was, you know, I think being a little bit conservative and knowing we had some time for that. So he's looked good. Yeah, I mean, I think our front court has a lot of depth and versatility, and that was on purpose. Certainly when you have Raphael as an anchor there, and then you start to, you know, build some combinations around him. I wasn't sure if we could play Luke and Raphael together, but the more I watch, the more I think we can and will at times, when and, you know, how. Not totally, you know, TBD there. But there's certainly the ability for those guys to play together. They both pass the ball so well. Raphael can guard a lot of different people. There's some remnants of like what Sean and Raphael looked like together last year. Not completely. I don't like to always compare player to player like that, but there's some of that. And then, you know, like Tyrone and Boo Boo, they give you those big long. While they're not 6'10", they're really long. Right, they're really good defenders. They can move their feet. They rebound. So a lot of different types of pieces there. Garrett being the one that sort of raises our ceiling tremendously if he's healthy, because I do think he's one of the best players in the league if he's healthy.
Matt Moderno, Believe in DMV Hoops. For Raphael. I know you take every game on the schedule seriously, but you guys have a game against the defending champion Florida Gators, arguably the deepest front court in the nation. Is that a particular test that you're looking forward to, is kind of competing against the other best guys at your position?
Yeah, I feel like I look forward to every game, kind of go into every game with the same mindset. But yeah, knowing they're the national defending champions is definitely a test that I feel like we're going to be ready for.
That might be the game we play those two guys together too, by the way. Just
Additional questions, just raise your hand. Oh, we got 2.
Tyler Cronin, 3-Bid League.
Tyler.
Coach, you had talked about the importance of getting postseason basketball in last year. You guys played one game
Yeah.
in the college basketball crown, but do you feel like having all that extra practice time, all that extra together time was helpful in any way in keeping so many key players?
Yeah, I thought the experience of preparing, and we didn't play particularly well in the second half, but Sean didn't play. He was a big part of what we were doing. But I thought the process of understanding, okay, this is what it's like when you get to Selection Sunday. Okay, now we have to have a plan as to what we need to do is a little different because of the starting time of the crown. But the idea of playing the postseason and then what that preparation would look like, and then the group staying together and kind of spend, I mean, it's worse places to go with your team than Las Vegas in terms of the guys spending time together and getting some experience, a couple of dinners in and things like that. And I actually think it was great to play against Boise because that was like the first team out. And I thought getting a sense of kind of like, okay, that's what that looks like. And I think we probably felt like, hey, we weren't quite there, but we were close. And especially with Sean, I think we could have, been very, very competitive in that game. And it gives you a little bit of a litmus test for the future, which is really was good for me. So yeah, I thought it was super experience. Plus another national television. Again, that's not something that we take lightly either. We got 11 national television games this year, which is great, about more than we've had in many, many years. So I think that's a good thing as well.
Chris, Zach Weiss, Pittsburgh Sports Now. I'd be remiss not to ask, with a lot of Pittsburgh media here, about Trey, who of course was at Duquesne last season.
Sure.
Just what you saw in his crossover, his ability to produce in the Atlantic 10, and what that could look like on the court for you all.
Yeah, we were pretty familiar with Trey. We had recruited him out of Canisius, and we couldn't get him in school only because we can't take anybody with 1 year left, right? So some places can, we can't. But then when he becomes a graduate and he's in the transfer portal, we're still very interested. He provided some things in the backcourt that we didn't have in terms of his shooting off the dribble, some of his ball skills. I thought Duquesne did a really good job with him. He had a really good year. I think we voted him on the all-conference last year at the end of the season. So lot to like there. He's down 15 pounds or so his body's in a place that I'm pretty comfortable with, his playing weight. And yeah, he again, I think our guard play is good, but he provides some things that maybe we didn't have, which could be exciting.
Any additional questions? I don't see any hands up, Coach. I think we're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph, for that.
All right, GW, yeah, there's a lot at stake for them this year, and the coach was talking about it. They got a couple of Friday night games as
love
well,
that.
which is exciting at home.
Yeah.
National TV coverage. They got a good group coming back here.
Right.
And a team that won over 20 games last year. They started 11-2 in the non-conference. Probably didn't play the toughest non-conference schedule. They built up a bunch of wins, but now this year, you just heard it. It's going to be a little bit different.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they're going to play inside out, right? He's talking about the force that he wants to see at the rim defensively, most importantly, but to bring back 5 key returners, I think that's always what coaches love, right? The synergy of that and the ability for them to lead the new players coming in. They have 5 transfers coming in as well. So I think that's a great mix. And the 5 players coming in have experience, so they'll be quick to learn the philosophy.
Yeah, they got Georgetown on the schedule as well. They go down to the Cayman Islands Classic, McNeese State, Middle Tennessee, Murray State. There's a couple of good teams right there. USF, they're on the road. That'll be in Connecticut against South Florida. That's a good game. And then, of course, Florida, as we just heard
Right.
from Sunrise, home of the Florida Panthers, the Sunrise Classic there, Florida, and George Washington, Florida State, and UMass. Make sure you eat before you go if you're at that game. It's like $22 for a hamburger at the concession stands.
Oh,
But
boy.
just because they win the Stanley Cup, you ain't
Wagyu
gonna charge.
beef or
It's crazy. I did that
Wagyu?
tournament last year, so it'll be interesting. But
cheese on it.
hey, that's what they need. They need to challenge themselves, right,
Right.
with some competition. Get ready for the A10. They were 9-9 last year in the A10. Now you take a step up. We'll play some harder teams, and then you'll be ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the preseason is for, right? That's the non-conference games. That's where you test your mettle. That's when you iron out what you want your rotations to look like when conference play comes around. So you want to be clicking with your regular rotational players in January.
Talking earlier about guys like Jim Larinaga, right? You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
some of the coaches, Caputo, coach under
Yeah.
him, Tony
Yeah.
Skinn, of course, played for him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of connections to Coach L, and I'm
love
sure
that.
he's pretty proud seeing his guys
sure.
doing really well right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing like that, right? I mean, you pour into players or you pour into colleagues and then you see them succeeding and continuing to pass on the little nuggets of information that you shared with them. It's really sweet.
A few more players and coaches to come. We've got the George Washington women's basketball team that we'll hear from, along with LaSalle. And then we're going to close it out here today for Media Day. Mike Corey, Christy Winter-Scott here with you from Washington, D.C. And, of course, Seth Greenberg and also Ice Young in Pittsburgh with our interviews today. And I tell you, Rafael Castro, one of the star guys, let's see what he can do this year for
Yeah.
the Revolutionaries.
How about that? I mean, it's that glass work for me, okay? And then he was on the all defensive team. So there's like some respect there. Everyone wants to score all the time, but give me the players who want to get some stops on a consecutive basis. That's how you gain traction as a team, as a collective unit. So his 14 points and 9 boards. I mean, that's big time work. So they're going to be leaning on all of that kind of production for this season for sure.
GW is a team and an identity kind of like, the Davidsons, if you will, where they brought in always a lot of international
Right.
players and stuff, That was
Yeah.
kind of, and we've heard how good that has been because of not only the work ethic, but like the fundamentals, right? From players over there.
Yeah, I mean, I played overseas for 3 years, and I was a back to the basket kind of turnaround jump shot player. Didn't put the ball on the deck a lot, but oh my goodness, we had 2-a-day practices. And let me just tell you, I became a guard before I even knew I was supposed to become a guard. So they want everybody to be able to do every single thing. Fundamentally sound basketball. There's not really a position, so it's like positionless situation. So it's like get up and down the floor, put the ball on the floor, come off screens and get downhill. I had never done that before I went overseas, but I got used to it. I came back and everybody was like, "Oh, you put the ball on the deck," and I'm like, "Yeah,
That's
I had to
right,
work
yeah.
on it over there, but I never had to do that."
Well, hey, not like you can't be unbelievable at every facet of the game, but at
No.
least you got a taste of it so that like you need to do that. You have
course.
a little bit more versatility where it's like, oh, that player just doesn't do that. Like, well,
Yeah.
you can now.
Right. And it was crazy because when I was here, it was like I didn't need to do the things facing
Yeah.
the basket and putting the ball on the floor. Like I was trying to get better at what the team needed me to do well in that position. So I didn't ever stretch and face up, put the ball on the floor a lot until I went overseas. And they were like, "No, everybody does everything over here." And I'm like, "Well, alrighty." So I had to make the adjustment.
Yeah, what about learning like the offense and defense and the
Mm-hmm.
sets? We talk here, we've seen a lot of these outstanding coaches in this league.
Right.
Just throwing out one at the top of my mind is Mark Schmidt, who always has like a lot of different sets
I love
and
a set.
scenarios, right? It's like you as a player, you also kind of have to know where everybody else is supposed to be on the
Absolutely.
play too, because what happens if you got to switch positions, or what happens if you don't? So it's not just like all I have to do is focus on whatever I'm doing. It's like, well, you kind of got to know that. That takes a little bit of time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of 5-on-0 in practice. I know when I was coaching, we'd run 5-on-0. You'd be in your comfortability spot, if you will,
Yeah.
like the spot that you would normally run. And then I would say, okay, everybody switch a spot. So everybody knew what everyone else was doing. So there was respect there.
All right, let's go back to Seth, Coach Caputo, and also Rafael Castro.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. And I'm really honored to be here with Coach Caputo, my man Slim right there, Rafael Castro. Coach, year 4, you've built something pretty special. You've got depth, athleticism, you have an identity. Tell me a little bit how you've built step by step this program.
Yeah, well, Coach, GW was good for 25 years, the early 90s to 2016 when the NIT had 3 NBA players on that team. Coach Jarvis was there, goes to the Sweet 16. Carl Hobbs had them in the top 10 in the country. So, a lot of success. And, we had fallen on hard times. And, I'd felt confident that, with the right support and the right work ethic, we could get it back. And, last year was really, 20 wins postseason, kind of built out a defensive identity. And then most importantly, going forward, to retain the guys that helped us do that, and then be able to bring more guys in. So that's where our depth comes from, and it's been fun. And DC is a good place to do that.
It's good to have depth, but it's also really good to have a big dude that can anchor your defense. And also, by the way, I must say, I mean, he can score, he can protect the rim, and he looks a lot better than you. So I got a question for you, Rafa. First of all, the bling. You got to tell me about the bling, and I want to know, after you tell me about the bling, if you were going to get bling for Coach, what would you have on it? But the first question, like, tell me about the bling.
It's just a piece for the fit, but I say it's almost like a trophy.
Oh, there you go.
Give myself a trophy. Yeah.
Now, do you wear that around anywhere, like a campus, or this is just a special
Yeah,
occasion?
special occasion. If I was to get Coach one though, it'd say Caputo. It'd say his last name. So.
That's almost like a gangster type thing, Caputo. I mean, what's going on? When you think about your team and this team's journey, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to see our potential. You know, it could be through the roof. I feel like this team, we all have a common goal, and that's to win. So I'm excited.
I'm getting wrapped right here, which is really disappointing because we could have covered some really good stuff with these two guys. But GW is absolutely legit. They're going to be an NCAA tournament team. They've got the depth to do it and survive basically the grind of the season. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Seth, he doesn't ever like to get the wrap, wrap it up.
No, it's pretty funny. A piece for the fit, though. That's the quote of the day. It's a piece for the fit. I like
We had
that.
a wrap